Mr Flip-Flop, Keir Starmer, is under mounting pressure from his own MPs to demand an end to the fighting in Gaza. With an SNP motion on a ceasefire looming this Wednesday, the leader used a conference at the weekend to toughen his position ahead of the vote, which last time was mired by division and rebellion in the Labour ranks.
An end to the fighting, not just now, not just for a pause, but permanently. A ceasefire that lasts, conference, that is what must happen now. The fighting must stop now.
Well, he might say that, but can he really make it happen? To discuss the state of the Labour Party is former political secretary to Tony Blair, John McTiernan. John, very good evening to you. Nice to see you again. Welcome to the Independent Republican, Mike Graham. This is becoming a really sticky issue, isn't it, for Labour and for Keir Starmer?
Look, it's a sticky issue for the world. There's a slaughter going on in Palestine, a slaughter of Palestinians, and it's got to stop. That's what the President Biden thinks. That's what the European Union think. It's actually what David Cameron thinks. It's not that controversial that Labour in Scotland and Labour MPs think it's time to stop the killing in Gaza.
Yeah, but the problem is that the Labour Party, John, can't agree about how that should happen and can't agree even about whether it should happen and what should come first. That's what I mean by it being a sticky issue. You can take a view on how much of it is happening and how much of it can be stopped by outside influences, but certainly Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't seem particularly impressed by anybody's advice.
Yeah, of course he's ignoring advice, he's ignoring humanitarian needs, but the Labour Party and Parliament, in my view, the whole of Parliament should support a ceasefire on Wednesday. The Tory MPs should vote for a ceasefire, Labour MPs should vote for a ceasefire, SNP, Lib Dem, Green MPs, whatever.
Yeah, but hang on. The last time Labour MPs voted for a ceasefire, Keir Starmer said they shouldn't have done it.
It's a long, long time ago, and
but it's a completely flip-flop view, isn't it?
We've gone from legitimate self-defence to 28,000 dead Palestinians.
Well, that's a Hamas number, John. That is a Hamas number, John.
It's not a Hamas. No, it's a real number. That's a real number.
It's a Hamas number.
You're saying it's 20 then, or are you saying it's 28?
I don't know what the number is, John, and it may well be. Well, hang on, John. It might be a big number, but the point is that you can't say
it is a big number.
You can't say anything for sure. You can't say anything for sure about that comes out of the Hamas Health Ministry, can you?
I can say for absolute sure, Palestinians, innocent civilians, children have been killed.
You can say that, but you can't say that 28,000 of them have, because you don't know that, do you?
I can say 28,000.
You can say 38,000 if you want, but it doesn't make it right.
It may well be many, many more, because we're just talking about the directly killed, as opposed to those whose health conditions are worse.
Let me take you back. Let me take you back. Hang on.
This is real.
Hang on. I'm not saying there's not a humanitarian crisis. That would be ridiculous. I'm not suggesting that.
Good.
But you can't
we should focus on that.
But you can't just keep throwing out numbers and expect everyone to believe them, because they're Hamas numbers. Well, let me show you this. Well, hang on. They are from the Hamas Ministry of Health. Those are the people that produce the numbers. I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't want to get caught up in that, right? Why not instead? Let's have a look at Rachel Reeves out on the campaign trail this weekend.
Yeah.
What's your current position in respect of what's happening in Gaza at the moment?
We should have this conversation separately.
Well, we've tried to have this conversation, and you've not been available.
Can we start the campaign session?
Why did you not vote for a ceasefire? Rachel, where are you going?
Now, this is going to happen every single time a Labour MP goes out anywhere. They are going to be questioned by people because their position on this has changed, as you well know. As you said, it may have been a long time ago, but Keir Starmer's position on this was that the Israelis were perfectly entitled to stop water going into Gaza. They were entitled to stop aid going into Gaza. He also said that they were entitled, if they wished, to go into Gaza with their own IDF soldiers and completely go through the city and take out Hamas terrorists. Now he says there has to be an end to the fighting. Well, it's a bit wishful thinking of him, isn't it?
Anybody with a heart believes there should be an end to the fighting.
Well, he didn't used to believe it.
No, anybody with a heart believes there should now be an end to the fighting. Everybody understands that the issue is about proportion. 28,000 people being killed so far.
Well, again, that's not a number I accept.
Yeah, I know you don't accept it, but you apparently are happy to see the slaughter.
Well, apparently so was Keir. Well, if you're saying it's about numbers, John, hang on. If you're saying it's about numbers, then presumably Keir Starmer was happy to see the slaughter when he said it was still okay.
As you know, disproportionate. As you know, disproportionate is the key word, all used by the European Union, it's used by the United States, it's been used by David Cameron, and people are taking a clear position now. The conflict has carried on. The conflict's carried on deep into Gaza City, then down into southern Gaza. There's a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
Why
doesn't he call for the release of all the hostages?
He does. That's a Labour position
but before anything else happens. Why doesn't he do that? You can't tell me, can you?
Yeah, I can. The ceasefire needs to be sustainable. A ceasefire is on both sides, but nothing is being made better by the slaughter of tens of thousands of Palestinians. That is what breaks the hearts of people across the world. It's not an odd position to hold.
Nothing is being made better by. Nothing is also being made better by the interaction of different Labour views. I mean, you had a Labour MP in Rochdale. And this time, you know, last week we were in the midst of a scandal of a Labour MP in Rochdale who basically had been told he'd made an apology. You went on television yourself and said he's apologised. That's good enough, you said. And in fact, it turned out it wasn't good enough, right? So which is it?
You're asking me about the ceasefire. There should be a ceasefire.
Well, no, I'm asking you about when you went on TV. Hang on, you went on TV. No, you went on TV last weekend and you said Azhar Ali should still be a Labour MP candidate because he'd apologised. You got that wrong, didn't you?
I believe that if people apologise, then they can be forgiven what they said before.
So you think Keir Starmer got it wrong then? So Keir Starmer got it wrong?
No.
Well, you both can't be right because you have different views.
I'm normally right in any situation.
Are you wrong in this instance?
I'm not wrong in this instance.
So Azhar Ali should still be Labour's candidate in your view? Why can't you say yes or no?
We're not talking about that.
I'm talking about it. It's on my show, John. You talk about what I want to talk about.
So we only talk about logic.
Well, is Keir Starmer wrong then? Is Keir Starmer wrong to have got rid of him? Is that what you're saying?
No.
So you're wrong then to have supported him?
No, more things came out after I
see. But you were OK with him committing to the public domain a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory. So you were happy to do that?
I'm quite consistent in this.
Not really.
I said one thing about Azhar. And I said people who apologise should be forgiven.
Right.
Some more information came out, and I changed my mind.
Why?
In the case of Gaza.
What was worse about the second thing? Hang on. What was worse about the second thing than the first thing?
In the case of Gaza, it is right that Israel has the right to self-defence. It is not right that Israel has the right to disproportionate self-defence. The proportion of deaths of Palestinians has gone beyond anything that is acceptable by the international community.
Right.
That is where the debate in the UK is, and that is where the debate in the UK needs to be.
Do you accept?
It is right. It's right. That's right, as you said.
All right.
It's hard for it
final
to stop a
question, John. I know we never have enough time here, but final question. Do you accept, though, and would Labour accept, or would Keir Starmer accept, that if Hamas surrendered and released all the hostages, that these killings wouldn't be happening?
Do you know what? Obviously, if Hamas were to release all the hostages, the current slaughter would happen. But what has been created as a consequence of this invasion, as a consequence of 28,000 Palestinians being slaughtered, is the creation of an entirely new generation of radicalized people. And that does not contribute in one step towards a two-state solution, safe and secure Palestine.
Hamas don't want a two-state solution.
No,
Hamas don't want
Palestinians want a two-state solution.
They don't.
Ordinary Palestinians want a two-state solution.
Really? When was the last poll you saw?
It's ludicrous for you to say that the Palestinians don't want a two-state solution.
Well, the Palestinian Authority The Palestinian Authority don't even want to try and talk Hamas out of killing people. But we've got to leave it there, John. Thank you very much indeed. We'll obviously have to do this some more. When Keir Starmer changes his mind again, we'll get you back on. How about that? Can't say fairer than that.